fixing multiple names on documents when applying for residency for a visa in Mexico. Applying for residency visa in Mexico married to a Mexican.
Well, hi, guys and gals, and welcome to Life in Huatulco. And we have been helping people for several years with their dreams to become retired in Mexico. And here's a lady that just made it. And congratulations. Her name is Haiti. And we've been communicating a while. And she's going to tell you the long road that she had, because there's different ways of becoming, getting your temporary or your permanent residence in Mexico. And one of them is the way that I did, or Fred did. She's doing it the way Fred did, because she had a family member in Mexico who either was a permanent resident or a citizen. Is that right?
Citizen, yes.
A citizen. And she's closer to Mexico City than we are. We're in Huatulco. She's close to Mexico City. And she went through quite a few different changes, and they would tell her, come back and do this, come back and do that. And so she's going to help you. This is going to help you. Get your pencil and paper while she tells her story. You want to tell us about it?
Yes, I started to do my tramite in Puebla. I did everything they said online. I took all the papers that I had. I even had a folder full of papers to make sure. So when they went through the papers, they said my husband's papers were fine. But my problem was that I had my marriage license certificate, had one name, one way. The passport had 4 names. The birth certificate just had 2 names. And what they did was told me that I had to get a verification letter of who I am. So they just gave me this form. I asked her exactly, where do I go get this? You have to go to the embassy of the United States in Mexico. So I called them. I asked them, is there a verification letter that I can get from the United States? They told me there is no letter. So then I go back to the immigration and I tell them, look, they don't have any kind of letter that you guys are asking for. So then the girl tells me, well, what you need to do is you write a letter, who you are, that those 3 names, those 3 different ways you have your name is the same person. And you have to take it to the notary or republic of the United States. And that's what I did. But the problem was no appointments were available. So I had to email Mexico so many times, different ways, in English and in Spanish, until finally they gave me an appointment. So I finally got the appointment, I actually sent you a text about the lawyer. I can't remember his name.
Licenciado that I told you?
Yes.
He don't.
Yes. And I showed him the letters that my nieces wrote. So he actually corrected that letter, and a letter that he says that will work. So I took his letter. I took it to the embassy of the United States, to the notary, to the appointment that I had. And then I had him sign it. Then they signed it. It was accepted.
So they accepted Licenciado Geron's letter.
Yes, they accepted.
Yeah, he does that all the time. He's good at that.
And then I went to the immigration again with my papers. And this time I had a different agent, not the same agent. I had another agent. She reviewed my husband's paperwork. Mine was fine. Then my husband's wasn't fine, because the license that we had, what they did was just transcribe the United States one onto a Mexican marriage license. Then we had to go have his corrected again. But his was a little bit easier because we were able to we went to the Registro Civil.
Registro Civil, every state has one.
Right. We went to Tecamachalco. They said it would take 90 days. So we had a conversation with one of my nephews. They says, no, go straight to Puebla, take your marriage license there. They will correct it there. But then there was like obstacles there where my husband had to get a birth certificate, update it. He took that, and then they gave us, we had to get the marriage license that we already had certified in the back by Tecamachalco. Then I was able to take it to Puebla, and then they said that they would correct it, and they put his other last name. And it said, they told us that it would take 10 days, and it actually took 10 to 15 days. It was done like in 10 days, I would say. And then after we had that corrected, we took everything again to the immigration. They went through the papers.
And where is this immigration? In Puebla?
Puebla.
Okay,
Puebla.
also,
So what they did was they accepted the papers this time. Everything was fine. I says, are you aware that my FMM is expired today? They said not to worry because your papers are in. You don't have to worry about that. So they told me that it would take 20 days. So that was on a Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday they were off because of Semana Santa. And then Monday, I think it was Tuesday, when I got a letter from them saying, come to get your prints, your photo, and you got to sign. And I couldn't believe I was reading what I was reading. So I handed it to my husband. I says, read this to make sure I'm reading it right. And he's exactly what he did. And we went the next day. Something told me to go that night, and then I probably would have had an appointment for the next day. But I says, well, it's kind of late. It's 4, and I don't know if they're going to be open. So then the next day we went at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Bless your heart.
We got up there, and the lady says, you got to come back at 6 o'clock in the evening for us to give you an appointment to come back tomorrow. So we were in the line.
But you were nice, you were polite, you were calm.
Oh, yeah. No, stay calm.
Stay calm.
Absolutely. They had the upper hand, and people
Yes,
don't
they
realize
did.
that. You get.
Yeah, they had the upper hand. Yeah.
But now the ending result, I do have my temporary residence. I got it on the 21st of April.
But you went back the next morning. They gave you an appointment. You went
Yes.
back.
And then I took the paperwork that they gave, the letter that they gave me, and then they told me to have a seat. And then all I was doing was waiting for my CUR, my residence paper, the resident card, and a paper that they gave me with a picture of ours, my picture of the card.
So CURP, you got your CURP. Then when did they do your fingerprints and your photo?
The fingerprint right there, that same, and it was like your 4 fingers on one hand, the 4 fingers on the other hand, and then the 2 thumbs in the same place. It was like one of the electronic ones. I was thinking that they were going to put the black, where your black finger, get your black fingers all
Like when
black.
you get married. Yeah. That's how you get married here.
Yeah.
So it was a happy day?
Oh, yes, it was.
And she's been at this a while. When we don't have this, when you're using, you have to prove you're married or the child of or the parent of another person. All the names have got to be right. You've got to have the apostles. And if the names aren't right, Licenciado Heron knows how to write that letter to take to an American embassy.
That letter was a good letter. Then
And
when
tell
I
them how
got
much you have to pay when you go to the embassy. You have to take this letter and you pay, but you had a hard
$50.
time getting the appointment.
Oh yeah, it took me. After I got out of that appointment on January 31st, I kept writing them, and because they don't accept phone calls, so I
And the
had to
American Embassy. She's talking about the American Embassy.
at the notary. I had to keep on sending them letters that I need an appointment as soon as possible, and I kept I said it in Spanish, English. And they finally sent me one for February. It was actually February 14th or around that day.
Yeah, see, yeah. You have to get an appointment with the American Embassy for a notary. That's what appointment. That's what they called it, huh? A notary appointment. She needed a notary, but she got it. Then just to get through the gate of the American Embassy in Mexico City's a trauma there too. I mean, it's just.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Exactly when your appointment, they won't take you earlier. They say 11 o'clock, and you can show up in that line at 11, like 30 minutes before the appointment.
Right.
But there was a lot, but they moved pretty fast.
And you have to pay $50, but you can pay in pesos, right?
The pesos was 1,050
that day. They go by the day, the conversion of the day.
Yes, 30.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. And then also when I did my, they send you that letter with they also send you an email telling you that you have un consulto de. So you push the button to go back to line. They give you a password and everything. You go in, but then what they did was you have to click in the bottom, and you have to answer more questions. The other questions were, how tall are you? What is your is there anything on you to identify you? And I put something and it wasn't correct. It stayed in red. So I put a scar on my nose and it took it. Then my height, I'm 5'2". So I put 5'2", but then you have to put it in metros. So I'm thinking, wow. And then I went back and I went to Google, put 5.52, change it to metros, and it gave me the number, and I put it in, and then it was fine. Then I put that in, and after I did that is when it came up with the letter that said to come in to the office. They make you do all kinds of things.
You've been through it, but I'm proud of you because you started this a long time ago.
January 31st to be exact.
But we were communicating a long time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you got in touch with that lawyer. He's very helpful.
He is.
Was he reasonable?
Yes. It was worth it.
Thank you so much for sharing with us and taking the time to do this. And maybe that your husband and you will come and visit us in Huatulco.
Yes, that's one of our goals. That is one of my goals, that I want to go and meet you and Fred.
Well, we'll have fun. Well, congratulations. Thank you for sharing with us this story, because it's going to help a lot of people know and start researching what they can do if they have a loved, a family member, right? A family member that they go under to get their permanent or their temporary resident. So now you only have temporary for 2 years, right? And then you become permanent.
I got this. Well, they only gave me for 1 year, but
right.
Then I have to reapply again. And then after that, I could apply for permanent residency.
That's right.
Well, I had a question, and I even asked them there. But I don't think sometimes they give you half of what you need to know, and then you got to struggle and find the rest of the answers. When I reapply, do I have to do all the paperwork again that I already did?
No, it's going to be very easy. Actually, Licenciado Heron can walk you through that. He can fill out the papers for you. He'll tell you there's hardly anything to it.
Okay.
It's going to be much easier.
All right.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be much easier. You have everything you need now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
thank you so much for sharing with us.
not a problem. Anytime.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
That's it. Be sure to subscribe to learn about life in and to learn about retiring in Mexico also, because we do share 25 years experience with you. Do you need a virtual mailbox so you can take care of business and personal communication on a daily basis? Are you interested in expat or nomad insurance that's highly affordable? Click our links below. We'll be back soon.
Retired in Mexico!